Hi guys, it's your girl Tala. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing things I think you should know before you go to university as a mature student. So as most of you know, I've just recently finished my university degree in physiotherapy. I went as a mature student and I started at the age of 25 and I finished at the age of 28, which is where I am right now. And I feel it was a lot different compared to other experiences I heard from people that went as coming out of college straight into university student. If you're not from the UK, stay tuned anyway, because you know there will still be points that relate regardless of where you're living. So the first thing that's obviously going to be very different is that you've been potentially out of education for a long time, so you probably need to do some recap. For me, I had to do an access course because my A-levels were so old. It was from 2010 to 2011. So I had to do an access course, which is like an access to health course. You can use it for nursing or other health courses. So I did the course, which lasted a year. And then after that, I was able to go to university. So the course was more of a refresher course. It wasn't anything particularly challenging. So I did really well in it. But then if you've been out of education for even longer than I had, then it might be more challenging. So just brace yourself for that and start to prepare yourself and switch yourself mentally into a place where you're a student. We learn every day, but to be a student you have to actually make an effort to pick up a book even when there's no one there. There's a big difference between where you left it. If you haven't been to uni before, where you left it last time, you had teachers and you had more support, whereas at university is more independent. You get given a piece of work, or educators or lecturers are around, but it's up to you to go to them because you need to be in charge of your own learning. So I think that's the biggest thing first. The next thing is the financial aspect. Money. The financial aspect of going to university as a mature student is real, guys. When I was younger, I had less bills, of course. I had probably a phone bill and that was it. But in the time period from that 18 to 25, you develop other expenses, you develop a different taste, you start picking up other bills. Some people have their car on finance. Thankfully, I didn't. And all these things can add up and you don't think about it because you're working. But in this case, you're going to be studying full time. If you're doing part time, you're still going to have to spend a huge amount of your time studying that you're not going to be working in. So you're going to have to take a pay cut. That could be hard for a lot of mature students. So before you go into it, bear in mind you're going to take a pay cut. You're going to have to maybe reduce the holidays, reduce the shopping, reduce the going out. And this is going to be your life for the next 3 to 4 years. For me, I had to give up shopping. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of shopping anyway. Like, I like new clothes, but I wasn't crazy about shopping. But I had to budget. My budget had to be so tight that it almost didn't have room for new clothes. So when I got big, I had nothing to wear. So I had to lose weight to fit back into my old clothes. But I had to make those sacrifices because I really wanted to get my degree. For me, being self-employed, before that, I was a personal trainer. I'm still a personal trainer. It was a big cut for me because I stopped working with any gyms because I didn't have time to commit to the amount of clients I even need to do to be paying rent, or the 3 hours I needed to do to pay rent. So I just didn't have that time. So I went strictly freelance and I did that through the first year and second year. And for me, that was a lot because it meant that every night I was having clients after, which obviously affected my study time. And then every weekend I would also squeeze in clients, which also affected my study time. I didn't really have that much time to socialize because I was just trying to get this money and make sure I was keeping up a lifestyle. At that time I was driving a Mercedes. I think I drove that for first year and I realized that, you know what, this is student life does not need a Mercedes. So I sold my Mercedes and got my reliable Nissan Juke. I made sure it had some of the similar features like cruise control, heated seats. Those things are important to me. I mean, that's not even a luxury thing for me. It's a comfort thing. I need to be comfortable in the car I'm driving. So I basically did that trade and I haven't looked back since. My university was in Colchester and I live in London. So that's about 55 miles into uni and 55 miles back home daily. Lucky enough for me, I had another guy that was in my class that lived relatively local. So we did the journey together and he would drive to come back and I'll drive to go. So that made the travel cost a bit cheaper. For first year, I lived out in Colchester and so I didn't need to sell my car and I was just paying rent, which was okay. But then I realized that it was really affecting my work. So being that I'd been out of education for a long time and coming in fresh out of college, because I obviously had to do the access course, it was more challenging for me because I didn't have any background knowledge in what I was learning about, which apparently would have been a good thing, but I feel like they had an upper hand. So I had to obviously change things and reprioritize my education. I think I really didn't prioritize university properly until third year, where I had to stop working altogether. But I think the biggest thing out of all this essay that I'm giving you is save. Make sure you save before you go to university. I think because I had savings for life, that when I went to university, I had to actually like start spending my savings. But I'm glad that I was able to do that, because that's why people get into debt. So as a mature student, you're, like I said, you have bills, you have responsibilities. And when you go to university, you're not able to afford a lot of the things that you've got on because you're not working as much. So it's better to have a really good savings so that you can continue to live within a reasonable budget. But if you can save an extra £2,000 per year, I would say that's a good amount, just to say that in case of emergency or any extra needs, then you've got £2,000 that you've budgeted for yourself, aside from the student loan that you're going to be getting. Also, in regards to finance, with my student loan, I split it into months. So I split it into 3 months so that when I got paid, I was paying it per term. Let's say, for example, I get £1,000. I got more than that. Let's say, for example, I got £1,000. I would split that into 3. And that would be potentially about 300 and something. So every month I would pay myself 300 and something, and that would be it. Any extra spending that I did was strictly from me working as a personal trainer. When I stopped personal training, so again, I'll just say make sure you save, because it can greatly affect your results if you don't save. If you really are struggling, I mean, there's you can go to your university and ask for financial hardship help towards that. I don't know much about that because I didn't do anything like that, but I know people that did. So it seems like they're quite helpful. So that's some people that you can reach out to and speak to university about that. Thirdly is to socialize. Make sure you socialize as much as you can, especially with people in your class. Try and get along with them. Try and go to the occasional drink ups that they have, or whatever it is that they're doing. Try and mingle with them, because potentially you're going to be in the same industry, in the same field as them, and it's always nice to have a solid team before you even get into the working life, so you can build that from this experience. And never look down on anyone. Don't look down on the people older than you in the class or the people younger than you, because you just don't know who can help you, or how you can help each other, or how you can be of help to each other in the future. I didn't really get to socialize as much, but I had my own experiences that were slightly different, and I felt like I wasn't financially stable or financially able to do a lot of the things that they were doing, such as drinking out. I used to take my own coffee to school because I just couldn't afford to just be buying coffee daily. So I just had a different life, and I felt a bit out of place to be spending money. But if you can socialize and mingle and go to at least one event ever so often, just to, you know, make sure that you're building a connection with these people that you're in class with. And also through the university, there's different groups you can join. Even from the library, you can meet people. I'd say just try and spend as much time as you can in the university and in the facilities, whereas I didn't really do that. So I would say, if you're going as a mature student, try and do that. It's a bit more intimidating, because you feel like everyone's younger than you, but really and truly they're not. You're probably still one of the youngest in the class, so, or in the university. There's a lot of old people there. There's a lot of people way older than you, way older than your parents. You're not old, so mingle, socialize, and just don't make age a thing when you're at uni. Just go in there and enjoy yourself. But you do have summer holidays. What I would advise is to get like a locum or bank jobs, and they're usually like casual jobs where you can accept certain shifts and not accept other ones. So just accept the ones you can do. So on days that you can actually go to work, you just do your shifts, and you get some extra money that way. If it's something that you can do, use some of your summer holidays to actually work and save, so that will be your spending budget for the year. So that's something that also helped me. I tried to work for my summer holiday, or try to do projects through my summer holiday. It kept me busy, and it also helped me balance things out financially, because I actually spend a lot. I don't know how. I've checked my budget. I do a budget, and I see what I spend, but I just don't see how I can reduce it, because they're all things that I need to be doing. When you go to university, your friends are probably still working, and it will become very difficult for you to find time that you can meet up with them, because they might be free on a weekend, but you might need to work on a weekend because that's the only time you get a chance to work. Or you might need to, if you've got children, it'll be more difficult because you might want to spend some time with the children. But try to, even if it's just once every month or once every 2 months, try to meet up with some friends and, you know, catch up with your friends, find out what's going on in their lives. I think it's very easy to get engulfed with everything going on in your life, and sometimes what you actually need to do is just take a step back from all of that and actually catch up with your friends. It's good for your mental health. It's good to see where they're at as well. Also, make sure you're not comparing yourself to your friends. Use that chance to think of it as a pause in basically what you need to do. So you will continue to grind, you'll continue to do everything you want to do and you need to do, but look at it as a pause. So in terms of achieving certain financial goals or achieving certain milestones in life, your current milestone is to focus on completing that degree. And that is your milestone. Don't worry about anything else. Your current milestone is to focus on completing that degree and doing a good job at it. So don't focus on trying to deal with too many strings at the same time, because they will all just get tangled up. That's one thing I had to learn at 3rd year, and I'm so grateful that I was able to learn it at 3rd year and not at the end of the whole course, that you just can't be dealing with too much strings. Sometimes you need to drop some and focus on the ones you can. So this is it. I can't think of anything else at the moment that I haven't mentioned in terms of preparing for university as a mature student. But if there's anything that you think I've missed out, if you're a mature student, or if you've ever been a mature student, or you're currently a mature student, leave a comment below and let's discuss this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope this video helps anyone, or you know, you can relate to it in any way, even as a first-time student, and even if you're not a mature student, you might be able to find some tips here that you can relate with. But my biggest thing I would like to tell you is to make sure you don't overdo it and you don't overwork yourself. Rest is so important as a university student. You need it to make sure that you're producing really good work, really good quality of work. I wish you all the best in life. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been your girl Tola, T-A-K, Tola Adaking, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.